Hello, this is OverlordBou, and I'm back with another review video. Today, we'll be looking at the Tier 9 USBB Hybrid, the Kearsarge. So, you can get this ship for 228,000 coal, or 19,300 doubloons. We'll be going over this video on pretty much all statistics, if I find it good for randoms, ranked, and CBs as well. But yeah, but just a quick intro. I would recommend this for randoms, definitely for ranked, and definitely likely for CBs. But we're gonna go into more detail now. So let's look over the build real quick. So the build is currently main armament, DCP, gun traverse. You can also do the range mod if you like, but I am pretty good with the 19.6, but if you want to be a little bit further away, you can do the artillery plotting, but good luck trying to hit anything because past 20 kilometers, this ship does definitely suffer. Damage con, as you'll kind of see in the video, the ship it has literally a big flat platform on it, so it definitely kind of suffers from being shot at. Concealment and the artillery plotting room for the better accuracy. Now for the captain, I choose William Halsey. He's amazing. I use gun feeder, gun traverse, adrenaline rush, fire prevention, concealment, emergency repair, and then basic survivability in those order. So without further ado, while we talk about the ship, I will be getting a replay in the background. So let's hop to it real quick. All right. So while the replay plays, I will go into the ship. So the ship has 84,300 HP, with 32mm bow with stern and a 38mm deck. Now, as you can see, this thing has a giant Texas-sized superstructure, so this thing will be eating a lot of damage on that superstructure. So you definitely want to try to do your best to stay at range and not to get close to enemies, or you will suffer. The ship does also have a 24% torpedo protection system, which is alright. Survivability wise is significantly worse than what the paper stats kind of suggest due to her really large superstructure. Since it has such a large superstructure, it makes angling very difficult at closer range because they can just pin that thing over and over and over again. So I would say this thing's tankiness is around a tier 7 or a tier 8 BB. It does have poor DTS, similar effectiveness to the German BBTDS. It is highly vulnerable to torpedo attacks due to its poor maneuverability and not having too much torpedo protection. Now for its guns. It has 12 406 45K guns, same as the North Carolinas, but it does have 12 of them instead of North Cal having the 9. Now it does have the 19.6 max range, which you can build up further if you'd like in the module slot. It does have a 36-second reload with a 1.9 sigma, and of course you have accuracy in the 6 slot, so it does get better. Now it does have a very long turret rotation time of 45 seconds. If you build into it like the build suggests, it will go down to 31.3, which is very good. Now it does have okay firing broadside at 35 degrees off the bow and 32 degrees off the stern. It has some quite good angling to be able to kite in this vessel, which is really nice as well. So it does have the highest alpha strike at tier 9, surpassing even the Heisen of the last. It does also have similar gun handling to other USBBs. Its shell characteristics are pretty much exactly the same as the North Cal. So if you enjoy playing the North Cal, you'll definitely enjoy this ship. Since the shells are a little bit slow, you are going to have to do longer lead times, of course. Now, the Kearsarge has excellent guns, but are difficult to aim properly due to their longer lead times. So you're going to have some issues aiming further away because of that. But overall, I haven't really had much issues with this ship, with the aiming, since I am used to the North Cal. So if you are used to the North Cal, you're going to really love this ship. So the secondaries on this ship are 14 twin 5-inch 38 guns, MK12, 7 on each side. Their range are 7 kilometers with a max of 10.5, but you really do not want to build secondaries in this ship. So please don't even consider secondaries in this ship. They seem like there are 14, 7 on each side, but it is not worth the secondaries. This is way too squishy to consider. So please do not consider it. The ship is way too squishy for that. So with the aircraft, there are 5 Tiny Tim Bearcats, 3 Tiny Tims each up to 15. They do have 68mm of HP pen, 33% fire chance. They do go 176 knots base with 216 top speed, and the heretical is a horizontal, so it's better for you to try to get broadside ships when you're trying to hit them. So these planes are very functionally similar to the Midway's Tiny Tim squad. They're very effective against battleships and large cruisers, and they're also really good at scouting DDs, as you'll see later on in the battle. Kinda the best way to do it is try to do a longer attack time. Try to use these to be able to get perma spotting on ships, so you can use your main guns right after. As you see the technique I'll use in a little bit, where you use these planes to spot the enemy and then use your main guns right after. But now these things do have a longer attack time, which makes it kind of difficult to be able to hit your target. So definitely learn the lead time so you'll won't have that many issues. So the anti-air on this ship, it has some quite good anti-air for its tier. It has 10 flak explosions. It has an outer of 5.8 kilometers, 245 DPS. At mid-range is 262. And short at 2 kilometers is 144 DPS per second, doing the continuous damage. So overall, I would say for a tier 9, it has good anti-air for tier 9, but it's inferior to the USPB standards. But it's still strong anti-air overall, all ships, but for Americans, a little bit below. Its AA range is very effective against torpedo bombers, skip bombers, but due to how big the superstructure is, those skip bombs are gonna slap if you're not careful at all. You gotta be very, very careful. So the ship's maneuverability is okay. It has a 30 knot base speed, 1,050 meter turning circle with an 18 point for a rudder shift. It has an average top speed for the tier. It does have a worst turning radius among the tier 9 battleships, even poor compared to tier 10 BBs, and a slow rudder shift time. Overall, among the least maneuver battleships in the game, as you can see, this thing is literally a giant flat top looking Montana monstrosity. For sure. It just looks like a giant plank was put on top of like a mini Montana, pretty much. And since this thing does have poor survivability, it does compound for a survivability issue. So for this ship's concealment, it does have a sea concealment base of 16.4 and an air of 14 kilometer. If you build into it, it goes to 13.3 kilometers sea and 11.4 aerial, which is okay. It's okay, but it's relatively poor for tier 9 concealment for a battleship. So it's kind of better for you to stay further back. Make sure you don't get close. Very important you use your range as best as possible. So the combination of the high surface detection, poor maneuverability, poor hull tanking ability will force you to play relatively far back. If you try to get in close, you're really going to suffer and take a lot of damage. So you definitely want to make sure you keep further back. So for the consumables, you do get the standard repair party, heals about 14%. If you use the flag, as you can see here, it goes to 15,554. That's a pretty nice heal for the ship, being a 84,000 health ship. That's a pretty nice heal. It does get the improved USDCP with a 20-second invulnerability period with an 80-second cooldown. So that's a pretty nice DCP and a pretty nice heal, so I like those overall. So overall, my impressions of this ship are pretty simple. It has a very high skill floor, high skill ceiling. The Hybrid BB provides a unique combination of a scouting and firepower at the expense of durability. The Kearsarge's TT gives her immense utility, allowing her to scout for enemy DDs or strike targets in between her long reloads. Now, having 12 North Cal guns they are hard to use at long range, but very effective, as you've seen throughout the battle, if you're able to use them effectively and have the good aim. Because you do have the US BP accuracy and the Sigma of 1.9, which is really strong. But her main downfall is her very poor survivability due to her large and vulnerable superstructure, resulting in a lot of pin damage. Aggressive BB players will have trouble pushing up with this ship due to how fast she dies in sustained focus fire, but if you're able to stay further back and use a longer range, you'll definitely succeed in using this ship for sure. Like other hybrid ships, the Kearsarge can only use the autopilot to steer a ship when flying her planes, further increasing her vulnerability. Now, something that there's a little trick that this ship can do is, if you are locked onto a target while you're launching your planes, your guns will stay locked onto that target until you come back. So say you have your ship at a 4th as you saw I did earlier. If you're locked onto a target, the guns will keep following that target or the last spot you were looking at when you launched those planes. So you can use that as an advantage to say, hey, it's like, you know where a ship is going to appear soon, right? You see, you saw a ship at one side of the map. Okay, you're gonna be looking your guns over there, and you use that trick to be able to have your guns already ready for the moment you have the plane spotting that target. And once you start the attack, you immediately go back to your ship, and you'll have about 5-6 seconds to be able to shoot the target before it goes dark. So let's do my recommendations. For 228,000 coal, I'd highly recommend it. The ship is amazing. The coal price is decent for what you get. It's pretty good. For 19,300 doubloons, I would also recommend it. A ship that's able to be bought for coal or doubloons, I think that's a really good deal overall. I really like it. So let's talk about my randoms, ranked, and CBs. For randoms, I would definitely recommend it for randoms. It's good, but it's difficult to use correctly. It's definitely not recommended for the average player or those unable to multitask effectively. So if you're a little bit higher skill and you're able to handle hybrids like the Issei or the Is, should be the Issei and the Tuss. I forgot how to say it, but one of you guys will definitely tell me how. If you're able to use those, you'll be perfectly fine with this ship. Ranked, I would definitely say above average, because those Tiny Tims, those airplanes, that early spotting is really nice in being able to perma spot those DDs early and get the positioning and knowing where they are. But her survivability will definitely hurt her in mid to late game, so I would say that's why I say a little bit above average for ranked. Now for CBs, likely be very excellent, especially if Georgia or Musashi's banned, because this ship will have a similar role to IS during Tier 6 CBs, where the ISs were used for using their planes for spotting. You would do the same thing, but with the Kearsarge. So the planes wouldn't be released for damage, they'd be used more for spotting the enemy. And those are my recommendations for randoms, ranked, CBs. We went over the ship statistics. We went over it being a hybrid. We went over the build. Again, the secondaries are 28 guns total with the max range of 10.5, but it's definitely not a ship you want to get. You do not want to risk getting close in the ship at all. If you get too close to anything, you are going to suffer. So, for the final score, I was sitting on the team with 1839, got 4 kills, very, very nice. And with the points right here, I did 153,000 damage. Very, 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 very good. I was very happy with this match, very proud indeed. But that will be it for the day. If you guys have any questions, concerns, definitely leave them in the comments down below. This is OverlordBou. Thank you all for watching, and I'll talk to you all later.